What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the right side of the map in the blue color. It's everyone's favorite Italian, Matreiuss. His opponent today in the red color, featuring on programs such as Sesame Street. Actually, I'm not 100% sure if that's true. His name is Count Von Count, and he is playing as Isis. The map looks to be Savannah, and we do have a very large giraffe spawn on this Savannah map. Very exciting. There's actually some zebra up here as well. Count's already making his way over there. He's currently eating chickens on this position here as well. The Pharaoh's scouting around. This is exactly what you really want to be doing with, with Isis in the early game. It might seem like you have a scout with the priest, but at 3.6 speed and with this obelisk as well to help out with the scouting, it's just too slow. Compare this over to Matreiuss' scouting already. Matreiuss has already scouted this much of the map compared to Count Von Count's priest, which has scouted this much of the map and a touch of his opponent's side. Now, the Pharaoh here, obviously very quick as well. 4.0 speed, has a big line of sight as well. Very, very useful unit there to get that early game scouting done, just to ensure you see exactly what's going on. Now, there might be another little bit of hunt in the early stages of the map here. Now, Count has seen this. He might be going on to that one a little bit later. Matreiuss, on the other hand here, he's already found his giraffe. He's getting nearly max value out of his great hunt, utilizing that on those giraffe. It seems like giraffe do have 300 food. Great hunt does only work up to 750 food. So if you've got 600 food or 300 food of giraffe, you can only get 2 giraffe. So it could be worth it to send a handful of herdables over there to also get those, but it might be too risky or something to send the goats over there and get that great hunt off. Wait, did he actually use it? He did. So whether it's worth it or not, I don't know. There is a rhino here as well that Matreiuss is going to enjoy later in this game, as well as down on the bottom of the map. He's got this beautiful hunt pack. This might not seem like a very good hunt pack here, but take a look. 900 food in the baboons, plus 100 food or 200 food in the lions. 1,100 food down there for Matreiuss to eat at some point in this game. Going to be well worth it. You might think there is like this hatred towards baboons because there's 45 HP in each of these baboons, which does take, they've got 20% pierce armor. Let's take a look at this. Can we see the damage that we get done? I believe the damage is somewhere in the vicinity of 10 to 15 damage per second or per shot on those archers. That's 12 damage there with a 5% thing. So let's call it 12 damage per shot, right? So if you come over here and you look at the baboon, you basically need to have 5-ish, 6-ish villagers to kill one without it running away. But with the ox cart, get those villagers in, you kill all those baboons nice and quick, and then you can run that ox cart around. You can have a really, really nice time where that's concerned. But anyways, enough talking about the how good that hunt pack is, even though it might not seem it. Matreiuss here is going up through Freya. He's getting his walls up. He's getting everything else up. I would be surprised to see Count Von Count not going Anubis here. Anubis is really, really good against the Odin players. However, Count here, he doesn't actually have his temple up. He's only just placed it. So this is really, really late advance time as he's putting multiple villages on this one because he really wants to get up to the next age. Now, for those of you who are like a little bit uncertain of how to approach these kind of far hunt games where you have to walk all the way over here onto this hunt, the way to approach it is just delay this monument. Get the temple up first, put this monument up a little bit later. Yes, you're going to have less favor overall, but you're going to be hitting that classic ledge at the right time, and you're going to be completely fine. That's the way to play around it. You just delay the monument, and you're going to be fine. Put the villagers over onto hunt a little bit more than you would normally, and those gold villagers can get on there kind of a little bit later, get that temple up with plenty of time to spare. However, we are seeing Bast because of how late this advance is. Now, the way that I like to think about Age of Mythology in terms of advance times, my opponent advances fast. He's either going to grab a second town center or he's going to be where he's going to be going for an aggressive attack. If he advances late, he's probably going for a fast heroic or a fast tech off of one town center. So fast tech doesn't necessarily mean a fast heroic. It could mean, say, a bunch of economic upgrades. It could mean a bunch of military upgrades. But basically, advancing later means you're going to have a little bit more resource. You basically have a little bit more resources than your opponent because a couple of villages come out earlier than your opponent. So you can spend those on tech. Or I guess you could spend them on more military if you want to wait on that early game fight because you have to catch up on train time and things like that. Anyways, count now, hitting that next age, we do see the obelisk getting cleaned up. One relic has been picked up here by Matreiuss. Let's take a look at exactly what that one is. It is the head of Orpheus, +8 building line of sight. Might not seem like a great relic, is a great relic, definitely worth picking up. We've also got the Trojan gate hinge here, which is really, really good considering how many walls are actually up here for Matreiuss. An extra 20% of HP on this ends up being somewhere in the vicinity of like 100 HP. So, I mean, it's not crazy, but it is pretty good. Count on count over here. Chasing around that Valkyrie. Sphinx versus Valkyrie. I think the Valkyrie wins this fight. Yeah, it does. It's got more hack armor. It's got more HP. It's got more damage. It wins in every single category. But the Sphinx does have a special ability. And the Priest is in to get a little bit of damage done as Matreiuss has to retreat away. As it looks like Matreiuss has... Oh, he didn't spot the armory. He does spot the second monument. But he's spotted both the town centers, so he can basically infer what's going on. And Matreiuss, at this point, he's dropped his town center, but he's not building it. As the hearse are coming over, we'll start to build it again. So not a huge amount of loss there, but Matreiuss is going for that far second town center to some degree. It's a little bit, I mean, it's on the later side of the second town centers, but it does play around. Well, it does. He's trying to play around this fast heroic from Count von Count. Now, one of the big things the big differences, I should say, between playing Norse and playing Egyptian or playing Greek is that Norse doesn't have to spend extra resources to get the town center. It just costs them 100 food, 300 wood, 300 gold. Whereas every other civilization, it costs them the build time or the villager idle time to some degree to build that town center up in terms of extra resources. So what you can do is while this town center gets up a little bit later, you can also head to the heroic age, which I'm not sure if that's what's happening here for Matreiuss, but he is banking resources, and it makes sense that that's what's going to be happening. Thank you to the raiding party, Punk Star. Appreciate you, my friend. As the raiding cavalry are going to come in, try and snipe that priest on this position. He does manage to get around. A great play there. The priest is such a nimble is probably the definitely the wrong word. Such a difficult unit to keep alive. It's got no HP, no armor. Well, it's got some HP, but no armor, and it just dies no speed. It just dies really, really easily if it gets caught out. As Matreiuss here, he's got the resources to go to the next age, but still no armory here. He's waiting on that wood as the villagers are starting to come out. There's the armory. And I would have to say, in the grand scheme of things, given what Matreiuss has created here, probably a little bit late on this heroic age. I think he should have been up by around about 8 minutes here. He's got the resources. He just didn't have that wood. But maybe, does he have pickaxe here? He does have pickaxe. So I think that pickaxe has really slowed him down, but it's going to give him more resources here to play with. Whereas Count now, he's in the heroic age. He's gone through Nephthys. He's got the forward Migdol up already in the middle of the map here. A decent timing at 8 minutes, 55 seconds, 9 minutes here. Chariot Archers are going to be spammed out, but in classic Isis fashion, did he use prosperity? He did. In classic Isis fashion, look at this. 1,000 gold in the bank, and then what? And then what? Nothing. You can't spend this gold. This is something I talk about a little bit with Isis, where I'm like, what you really want is you don't need to use prosperity while you go to the heroic age. Because you just don't need that gold. You don't need to be floating 1,000 gold here. It just inflates your score and doesn't really do all too much. Better would be put 8 villages or so on gold and the rest go onto wood so that you can buy yourself Scorpion Men Chariot Archer, Siege Tower, and you can hit your timing push. And then later in the game, once you move to that second gold mine, then you want to be utilizing that prosperity, as we see a second town center coming up. And I'll talk a little bit about this right now as well, because this is a very big strategic mistake I think that Isis players are making, is that they're going for like a 10-minute second town center. It doesn't make any sense. Your opponent's gone for a second town center. They've had a second town center for at least 5 minutes here for the most part. In this situation, it's a little bit less because Matreiuss went for raiding cavalry earlier. But we see a frost coming down nice and early here from Matreiuss, as he doesn't want to get dealt with Ancestors Eclipse or anything early here. As we see another wall coming up on this position. Raiding cavalry coming through here, going to put a stop to the town center as well. But the point is here that getting this town center, you're just letting your opponent get more advantage from having that town center up when you are going for a timing attack here, basically. Now, if Count here just spent his resources perfectly, chances are, if he got the big doll up at 9 minutes and he was spending those resources perfectly here, he'd probably be at full population by 11 minutes here. Hit a ridiculous timing attack, but instead this town center here not going to go up anytime. Well, he's going to try and get it up now with the Scorpion men coming through. Matreiuss still trying to just be a little bit annoying here, but he is losing a lot of units to that raid. Because now the village is going to start moving forward. Looking at Matreiuss' perspective now. After that frost is down, he didn't get any real value out of the frost, but he has delayed the attack. Now, Jarl's coming through. Huskarl coming through. I have seen a lot of Norse players spam hill forts in these positions, and it does work nicely here. The big thing that you need to have from the Isis side of things is axemen to deal with those Huskarl, but we haven't seen the axemen coming out just yet. Ancestors Eclipse getting dropped into the main base of Matreiuss. Matreiuss immediately garrisons his villages. He's got a lot of villages over here as the Ancestors and Scorpion men moving up to the top side of the map. The Frost Giant is in. Great micro here from Count to stay away from that Frost Giant as he is searching around. Does find a whole bunch of villages here that can't garrison into that town center. They've only got 25 population in the town center. So a couple of villages do end up going down here as the villagers retreating away from these minions as best as they can. We do see the Herser is in here to help out as well. Does pick off those minions fairly quickly here, but look at that, able to finish off that Herser nonetheless. As the Scorpion men gets trapped here by those Frost Giants. That one's going to be falling here in the end of the day. Another hill fort is up. Matreiuss and Count on Counts. God powers are down, Counts on 2 town centers. He's got map control to some degree here. And one thing he probably should be doing behind this is sending villagers forward. He should be sending villagers forward. He should be looking to wall in his opponent here, getting walls up around this town center on this position here, securing his trade route over here would not go astray either. At this point, he is putting a lot of pressure on. Does manage to snipe that ox cart there, pulling back as the army of Matreiuss. How is it going? He's at 105 of 130 population. He's got 400 gold in the bank. Lots and lots of resources here to spend as he is pumping out those Huskarl, trying to spend all those resources there. He's not got any farms up at this point, which is the difficulty. If Count on Count reads this situation well and gets himself out some axemen, some siege towers, he should be able to push through here. The other option, though, could be play for the 3rd gold mine. So the home gold mine's expired. He's on the 2nd gold mine here. What you want to do is you want to be scouting and seeing where all the golds are. He knows there's a gold down the bottom, so send villagers forward, hill fort or Migdol up on this position, wall everything up around the map here, and attempt to get that gold starve on that position. Make sure you're walling this off so he can't sneak this gold mine. That's the way to play here for the Isis, but we aren't seeing that just yet. So this is giving Matreiuss a good opportunity to come over here and set up on this gold mine down the bottom. If that's ever going to happen or not, we'll have to wait and see. As we do have the heavy spearmen that are out here. Big forest fire getting dropped down. Camel Count not paying attention. Lots of damage coming through. Almost gets the ghost building down. Not quite able to. Picks off 2 villages with that forest fire. Honestly, not a whole lot of value you're going to find from forest fire in this matchup because Isis does have those god blocking monuments there, god power blocking monuments there, as the Pharaoh does get sniped down. Villagers getting picked off over here as well, so villagers going to be retreating back. Count at this point over here trying to defend as best as he can. These Huskarl are really, really strong here. Imagine forest fire on this position though, probably would have been a little bit better. As the villagers retreating back, just going to be losing a handful of them as Count, he can't really push into this position. There's too many defensive fortifications here to actually make any ground here. And now what Count's actually done, he's given Matreiuss the ability to produce a full wood-based army at this point, which is Huskarl, Throw and Axeman. He's making Spearmen, he's making Chariot Archers. So it's really, really difficult here. Or, well, not difficult. It's really, really easy here for Matreiuss to construct this army, not really needing those farms. Obviously, he's going to slowly be putting his farms down so he can get some upgrades. As the army coming back here for Matreiuss, he engages just that little bit too early in this fight as the Chariot Archers need to retreat away from those Huskarl. They do so much damage over here. The Spearmen will be getting some decent damage done into those Huskarl, but they just have so much HP being Odin compared to the Spearmen. They do so much more damage, and while they only have 15% hack armor compared to the Spearmen's 40%, damage-wise and resource-wise even, look at the resources here. I mean, it's expensive, but resource-wise, these Huskarl are trading completely fine against those Spearmen. You absolutely need Axemen here. And Count, at this point, is no longer producing anything but Chariot Archers, and this is where the Norse army is just going to shine, is just fighting against those Migdol units. You need Axemen, and part of the thing is, like, Axemen are just such a big counter to the Norse army that Norse players say that the Axemen are too strong, and they might be right about that, but there's no other good option for the Egyptian player. In all honesty, there is potentially room for war elephants at some point in the game, but war elephants are very, very expensive for earlier in the game, as this raiding from Matreiuss is continuing, sneaking through here with these Huskarl. The Huskarl take barely any damage from these towers, and they're really fast at 5.0 speed. As the fighting continues on this position, Chariot Archers falling, Matreiuss getting so much advantage here. At this point, his gold is just about to expire. He's got 1,800 gold left. He still hasn't secured this gold mine down the bottom, but he might want to just move forward onto this one, potentially dropping a hill fort down over there at some point. Wouldn't go astray, as now heavy Huskarl are in. But surely Count here is going to start Axemen at some point. He's not building himself Chariot Archers anymore. He's getting himself the Axemen upgrades. I don't see any more barracks coming down. One barracks is definitely not going to cut it here for Count, as there's a second barracks coming up on that position. Matreiuss here. Let's take a look at his economic upgrades. He's got himself irrigation, shaft mine, hand axe, in a really, really good position here, as the villagers pulling back here. We do see the Chariot Archers trying to sit under this position, but Matreiuss here, he is just full Huskarl. He just looks at this army and says, why am I building anything else other than Huskarl here? And he's absolutely right. Not only Odin getting that bonus here of how much HP? 23 HP per Huskarl. But his opponent here has refused to make any Axemen. So now he sees the Axemen coming out. Matreiuss needs to think about, all right, we've got to start at least thinking about making some cavalry. So the thing is, he can just make Jarl. He can just completely cut these Huskarl at this point, take villages off of the wood line here and build farms, go up to 30 villages on farms or something, and now just make Jarls, because now Jarls will beat not only the Chariot Archer, but also the Axemen as well, as this town center is getting bashed down by these frost giants. One priest is out to get some good damage done, does have funeral rites, so we'll get some real good damage done onto the frost giants here, but the villagers repairing this one up. The Huskarls are coming back in. This town center is not going to be long for this world, as Count is now going to drop down to one town center here, and Matreiuss is putting up that hill fort in the middle of the map. The gold mine is gone, but this town center is down, and this gold mine is in the sights of Matreiuss here. He doesn't mind making that, taking that aggressive gold mine at this position. I would love to see just a hill fort getting dropped here as well, just to be absolutely safe, so that he's not going to get taken out on that position, as Count here is at 110 of 118 population. He doesn't have a whole lot left. The Axemen coming through, 20 villages on food, 27 on gold, farms spread out in his base. So much chaos in Count's base here. He's getting a back town center up, trying to continue here. We do see the villagers spreading out over here, searching for a gold mine. There is one gold mine down on this position here. I imagine Count will be spotting this. He's on this gold mine as well, as we see a Migdol stronghold coming up. Matreiuss now going up to 4 town centers in this position. He gets this one. He gets this one. He's in a fantastic spot right now. Walls coming up as well as a market going to be coming down. This is something that I say that most Norse players forget to do when they build their market. Get walls up, get a hill fort on the position, ensure you defend it. As the Huskarl getting pulled off of this hill fort, going to push those chariot archers back. Hill fort next to a Migdol stronghold, not the worst of positions to be in for Matreiuss here at all, but now the Axemen are out. Can Matreiuss adapt to this and just say, all right, my Huskarl, they just kind of have to try and get good trades, but effectively we need to trade them away and go into mass cavalry here. Very, very important here as the raiding cavalry are coming in. How are the armory upgrades looking? He's got himself bronze shields and copper weapons, as we got bronze, copper mail there for Count von Count as well. As the hill fort goes up, those axemen are not going to be doing a whole lot of damage to that hill fort. They only deal 6 damage a second, or hack damage a second, which is very, very low. They do tons more damage to those Huskarl though. As Matreiuss is struggling a little bit for production here. How many longhouses does he have? This is another big difficulty generally for the Norse players, is they just don't build enough longhouses to support this amount of population. He's got all these resources in the bank, but those longhouses just are not there. As a longhouse coming up on this position, market coming down on there as well, as this gold mine is now secured. Over here, this gold mine is getting walled in, and take a look at this. Migdol stronghold coming up with a pharaoh, but Matreiuss is paying attention. He sends the Huskarl over here. He's going to be at least able to take out that pharaoh there, it seems, unless Count von Count micros it a little bit. Chariot archer raids coming in do manage to snipe the ox cart on that position as more units are pushing in here. And now the Pharaoh gets pushed back. More Ulfsarks coming in onto this position as the Ulfsarks swing through, going to attempt to take out some of these villagers here, as the villagers trying to shoot that Migdol stronghold up as fast as they can there. Does kind of manage to get it up, but even after that, the villagers here garrisoning into the Migdol, it's going to be a little bit of idle time for him. He might be able to get some chariot archers there to defend, but this is still the problem he's facing. Matreiuss is now floating a lot of food here. He can start making a trade route if he so chooses, as the raiding cavalry are coming through. He's got heavy raiding cavalry as well, as now the Count von Count needs to start thinking, all right, well, maybe I need to go into spearmen, back into spearmen again here to deal with these raiding cavalry, which is exactly what he's doing. And now Matreiuss has to go back in to throw an axeman to some degree to start dealing with those heavy spearmen. And then you can start seeing the army composition of Matreiuss and Count sitting in a really nice spearman, axeman, chariot versus raiding cavalry, Huskarl, throwing axemen to some degree. And that's a really, really good composition for both players to be trying to push with getting each unit to be on their counter units as best as they can. But we'll see if Count von Count can somehow find his way back in to this game. As the Migdol stronghold is up, it's being defended. The trade route is started there. The army pushing through, going to be taking out this entire position here, as the Huskarl trying to deal with everything on the back. But those axemen of Count are doing a great job there, sniping those down. But it looks like Matreiuss here encroaching on that 180 population, and Count von Count there, 120 of 100 population. They're just not able to figure it out here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to say that I do think that this Isis strategy that Count von Count is doing, this is a strategy that's been kind of utilized for 20 years or so. It's been around, maybe not 20 years, maybe since like 2006, 2007 era, where the Isis fast heroic kind of came to popularity with the Ancestors Eclipse push, with the chariot archers, with the siege towers. And there always was drop a second town center when you hit the heroic age. Now, this made some sense in vanilla, where this strategy originated. I think it originated in vanilla. Maybe it originated in the Titans. I'm not 100% sure. But grabbing that second town center straight away made a lot of sense, because you couldn't build a town center in the classical age. But in the Titans, you can build a classical age in the second age, and that gives that economic edge over to the Norse player really, really in a big way. Now, what does this mean for the Isis fast strike? Does it mean that it's dead? Not really. It just means you need to really be pinpointing your win condition with this timing attack. You aren't going for a boom here in the slice. This doesn't mean that you can't not boom later. It means you need to hit your attack before you start thinking about spending resources elsewhere. So my suggestion here for Isis players, if they want to find wins in this matchup, Migdal Stronghold, barracks for a little bit later when your opponent starts making those Huskarl. You want to get those axemen out as soon as you see the Huskarl. Don't bother with spearmen because you've got scorpion men for the raiding cavalry. And go chariot archer early, scorpion men, get a couple of siege towers out, make that push on that second gold mine, win the game on the second gold mine or do a ton of damage, and then start your boom and see how you go. That has to be the way forward here for Isis. You could also not go for a boom and instead utilize prosperity to attempt to get to the mythic age, which is another way around that, or start your farm transition with prosperity, buying some food, getting the farms out nice and cleanly is another way to go about it. Lots of options for after the timing attack, but you definitely, if you're going for a fast heroic, and this goes for basically every civilization, if you're going for a fast heroic, you are going for a timing attack. You can't start to boom after that, otherwise you're just going to be falling behind on the tech, falling behind on the economy, and falling behind on the military as well. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.